people often ask about status, and people think that status is a continuum. It isn't. There was a moment in time, for example, in the world, we're in the southern hemisphere, located around the Nile Valley, the Indus Valley, and some other places, and that Europe was thought of as an uncommon place of uncivilized people by most of the people in the world, including by Europeans themselves. And where southern Europeans wanted to associate themselves with the southern hemisphere civilization. This is actually not that long ago, even though it's several thousands of years ago. So from that moment till now, there have been movements up and down in the status and position of all the peoples on the face of the earth. The world has got considerably smaller, perhaps than it's ever been, because now you can jump on a plane and fly to any part of the world and be there the next day. You can type in something on the internet and receive information from somebody else on the other side of the world. Ideas, thoughts, and principles about people are able to be transmuted from one place to another very, very rapidly. Ideas and prejudices that were manifested perhaps in a small corner of the world can now be transplanted across the world globally, and people can find succor and life from those prejudices and discrimination, whereas before they might have felt that they were isolated and strange, which has an effect to bring together not only people who want to speak about the commonality and humanity in all living beings, but also brings together those who actually believe that certain sections of humanity are inferior to other sections of humanity and should remain so. Those ideas can be spread far rapidly, far faster, far quicker, because of the means of and modes of transportation and communication of those thoughts and ideas move faster. So it means, and we haven't really caught up with this at all, people of African descent haven't caught up with this, that racism, through the guise of populism, is now a global phenomenon everywhere and in every corner of the world in which we live, because the internet is in every corner of the world in which we live. Therefore, the ideas of racism, global racism, is more prevalent now globally than it has ever been, perhaps in the history of humanity. Ideas about the inferiority of the African is more prevalent now globally than it has ever been in the history of the world, ever. Ideas about Africans being less than is also more globally present now than it has ever been in the history of the world, because the world is global. So the need to counter such ideas is more dominant, more prevalent because of what's happening. Otherwise, what we will find is that what we thought we'd left over there, we discover is in fact over here. And we might go somewhere to escape what we thought was over there and find that it's also over here. And in fact, there is nowhere where you can go on this planet where you can escape it. And even when you go to some obscure place, you find it when you thought that you'd escaped it. Africanus.